Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay Will. So some of you guys have actually asked me to review the Canon EOS M100, and I'm thinking, man, I haven't had it long enough. I haven't had it to where I've really gotten used to it yet. But you know what? It's just based on quality, and the quality of the Canon EOS M100 is absolutely superb. Now, I will be honest here and admit that using an actual camera to do YouTube videos, it is a little different than using a smartphone. Case in point, with a smartphone, I'm completely mobile. I can actually do everything from the smartphone, meaning edit, record, do voiceover. I can do everything from the smartphone. And if I have a smartphone that has really good quality, I'm set. But the difference with using an actual camera is sometimes a smartphone just can't reach the heights of an actual camera, DSLR, mirrorless camera. It just doesn't matter. So here's my experience with the Canon EOS M100. Now, if we look at the hardware on the Canon EOS M100, I have other cameras that are just point and shoots. I don't have any other DSLRs and other mirrorless cameras. So with that, what I've learned is that the quality of this camera, when I compare it to other DSLRs that cost a heck of a lot more, to me, I really don't see the difference. They all felt like plastic, and I've gone into different camera stores and Best Buy mainly, and played with all the different cameras, and they all kind of feel the same to me. So when I hear reviewers say it's kind of plasticky and cheap, not just the EOS M100, but I've heard reviewers say that some cameras feel worse than others, and then I've decided to go in and check out these cameras, and my personal opinion is I can't tell the difference. They all feel like plastic to me. Some have metal parts, some have plastic parts. Some do feel better in the hand, and some don't. But with the Canon EOS M100, the hardware on it is actually pretty good, but it does feel like plastic. So if there's any metal on it, I think it's predominantly made from plastic though. But I just don't have an opinion, really like a strong opinion on what it feels like in the hand. It's got some points on it to grip, and that's pretty much it. As far as the lenses go, now you know that I have purchased the 11 to 22 and the 24 millimeter lens and the kit lens that comes with it. I've tested all these. So my experience with that compared to using a smartphone is this. It is a little bit more work trying to, now, remember I'm just not starting off like this, so using an actual camera, using the EOS M100 has been a joy to use, but I've realized quickly that the difference between an actual camera and a smartphone is, believe it or not, on a smartphone, again, like I said before, it's pretty simple to get the shots that you want. But with an actual camera, it requires a little bit of work. So if you want to get a good shot, I find myself editing more in post having a mirrorless camera and switching out the lenses. It just takes a little bit of time to get used to. But the quality of the work that is being produced has gotten better, and at least in my opinion. And you guys are saying, wow, Jay, you know, whatever you're using, it looks fantastic. So the Canon EOS M100, my experience with it has been perfectly fine. I'm like any other user who is switching from a smartphone full-time to an actual camera. You're going to stumble, you're going to run into some roadblocks, you're going to not like it at one point. You're going to think, oh my gosh, you know, this is the worst investment ever. But in actuality, it's really not. Upgrading to an actual camera, mirrorless camera or DSLR, that is totally your choice. But I can tell you that you technically really don't have to, because I'll be honest, I've tested the Canon EOS M100 next to my point and shoot Samsung camera that I have, and in some situations the point and shoot actually saturated better, and this is with my 11 to 22 millimeter lens. So I've heard people say, well, the aperture's too big, you know, it's not going to work out for you. You just have to get the right lighting. But the camera itself has been a pleasure to use. It is an investment. I've invested over $1,000 now into the camera, and I'm doing this to get better quality to the YouTube videos. And that's not the only upgrade I've done. I've actually upgraded my tripod, and I went to a Neewer tripod. Literally, that's the name of the tripod. This is by a company called Neewer. Now, I was actually fortunate enough to catch this on sale for $100 on Amazon during like the Cyber Monday or Black Friday time. And I'm so glad I purchased it, because this tripod can actually angle at, it can go at different angles. I can do my overhead shots. If you notice now, I've done a lot more overhead shots, and you don't see a lot of, you don't see the crazy angles, and the audio sounds really good. Everything is right on point with this tripod. because there's something that you need. I can have the best camera in the world, but if I don't have the right lighting and the right tripod and I can't get the right angle, it really doesn't matter. So I upgraded my tripod to the newer tripod as well. This thing can go 75 inches. It's a 75-inch tripod, so it goes really big, and I don't need it to go that high. But I'm a tall guy, so if I'm sitting at a spot and I don't want to arch or bend at all, I can get a great shot with my new tripod, my newer tripod. So my experience with the Canon EOS M100 has actually been pretty good. Like I said, honestly, there's been some times where I'm like, I really don't even need this. You know, I'm comparing the quality to the iPhone 8 Plus, the iPhone X, the HTC U11 rear cameras. You guys are right. Some of you guys say you need to compare the rear camera, and you guys are right. The iPhone 8 Plus and the HTC U11 and the Galaxy Note 8, when you put those against this mirrorless camera with the 22mm lens, I'll say, it is close, man. I mean, and in my opinion, it is close. So there were some times, and you know, there are still times where I'm like, you know what, man, did I really need this? Maybe I just needed to adjust my setting, get the right lighting, get the right setup, and I probably could just use a cell phone. Some of you guys actually reached out to me and said, you know, Jay, I liked your channel more when you used a cell phone. That's kind of petty. I don't understand that. I shouldn't say petty. I don't understand that comment, because really your focus should be on the quality of the work. I still test smartphones daily, and I still give you footage from smartphones. And so I guess I just didn't understand that comment. But if you could reiterate in the comments of this video and letting me know why you would want me to switch back to just using a smartphone. I know you guys want me to test all the smartphones, and I do test them as best that I can. However, when I'm not doing any kind of test or anything, I'm sure you would want quality like this, just decent quality and audio from the actual device that I'm using. So using the Canon EOS M100 has been a pleasure. And again, I did make some adjustments. I adjusted my lighting. I took off the big I've always had studio lights. And the reason I didn't use them a lot in my office is because the thing that goes around is huge. So I thought about it one day. I was like, man, I could just take those off. So I took them off. And now you see sometimes, I've got it pushed, but I'm not using this one. But I just have this, so I can move this around more. I can put it in different places. I can get all those great shots for lighting. And it's working fantastic for me. So a quick update for those people who were requesting me to review the Canon EOS M100. It's been good so far, and yes, I'm having doubts. I'm human. Yes, I put it against some smartphones. Yes, the smartphones did fantastic. Yes, the Canon EOS has a little bit more detail, but you know, the question still remains is it worth the upgrade? But it's your man Jay Will. The Canon EOS M100 is fantastic. The Canon, the 11 to 22mm lens has a great wide-angle lens, and it's been good. So that's how I feel at this point, December 2017, buying the mirrorless camera. I think I've had it for 2 weeks or something. I don't know how long it's been, in 3 weeks. I don't know. 10 days. I have no clue. I'm not really clocking how long I keep my products, or when I first bought them. But the fact is, 2-3 weeks out, or a month out, I guess, or 3 weeks out, the experience is happiness. Quality of the work. Like, you see my latest videos, you tell me the difference in quality, you know. And somebody said, Jay, I thought the Canon EOS couldn't record in 4K. Well, it can't record in 4K, but I can code any way I want to. So I've been coding some of the videos in 4K at 60 frames per second, and it takes a little longer doing that. But I was just messing around. You know, you got to mess around. So I'm using some software, and I'm trying to mess around with it and kind of get a feel of what I want to give you guys. Do I want to go back to 4K at 60 frames per second? Do I want to use the iPhone for that? Do I want to use the Note once it gets my 4K 60 frames per second update? But when I do want to do 4K, I do have an iPhone 8 Plus. And when I do want to do 4K, I do have the Note 8, the U11. I have all these phones that shoot in 4K. So that's not an issue. But the Canon EOS M100, it's a great camera. So I appreciate everybody who helped me in some of those choices with lenses, and you know, my final decision was made by me to get the camera. I just wasn't sure on the lenses. So thank you guys, and that's kind of how I feel right now about the Canon EOS M100. Take care.